Okay, this is
You're right,
blinking.
Zach.
All right. So we're here in what East Texas Zoo and Gator Park, right? So recently, you guys got some negative press due to, I guess, this fringe website that's been putting out misinformation and kind of distorting certain images they took and making a bigger story or a fabricated story out of it. So we're here to set the record straight. And Tyler, you run this operation here. I got a nice little tour. Why are you hiding? This is Jason here, who is actually the big bad face of animal abuse, right? But really, what I've seen the last couple of days, including your Franklin facility, I've seen a very professional operation. So kudos to you guys. Everything's really clean, and the animals look healthy. But today, I think is an opportunity for us to kind of see how they can take one little thing and make it look like a violation, and then these fringe groups come in and pile on, and then it becomes a whole different story, right?
Make it a big deal more than what it is.
Yeah.
So.
But before we get to that, let's kind of hear about the parks. I'll have you talk about this East Texas Zoo and Gator Park, and you can talk a little bit about the Franklin safari that you have.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What would you like for me to?
Just the history of this place. I know, and maybe Jason, you're the better person to talk about it.
You know, I guess about 5 years ago, we got together and done a deal and bought the East Texas Zoo and Gator Park. And just been rebuilding it from what it was. It used to be just a gator park, just gators only. And now we added a few animals here and a couple exhibits there, and done this and done that, and built it to where it is today, and got it all going.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about your background, Jason. I know you've pretty much at a young age had to bootstrap because your father became disabled. And
my father became disabled when I was like 14. I've got nothing but a 9th grade education. Got a GED finally whenever I was 18. And then went and started working on my own around 20, 21. Mm-hmm. Then, 10 years ago, started building a drive-through zoo in Franklin. And got it open and got it running and built it up, and it's been very successful.
Pretty much the best in the area, from what I understand. You got 100-something acres there, and these animals roam freely, and they're well fed. I mean, we went through the safari, and they were coming up to the vehicle and wanting food. They were super tame.
Oh yeah, you got that little white bucket of food. They're just all over you.
Mm-hmm.
And they love it, and all the kids and everybody that comes out loves it.
How many different species do you have in that
over
park?
If you count birds and reptiles, over 120.
Wow. And you got some cool highlights there, like zebras and
giraffes. Giraffes a big hit, highlight. Everybody loves feeding the giraffes. Be able to interaction, do a lot of interacting stuff with all the animals.
Mm-hmm. And tell us, I know during COVID, when everyone is stuck at home and didn't have much to do, you had a day when all these cars
we got lucky and got to stay open. Nobody could get out of their vehicles, and everybody found out about it and came out and got to enjoy the whole experience. You had to stay in your vehicle, but you got to drive through and experience all the animals and feed them and had something to do instead of just being stuck at home.
Yeah. Great. So I think it's a great service, right? A safari where you get to be up close, or in this zoo too, where you can touch some of the animals.
Yes.
I think that is really important for our kids to get educated and develop an interest, right?
So, yes, well, sure. All the facts about animals, where they come from. We try to get staff members to talk to the public that comes out. Do the best we can, Sometimes we may be short-staffed and can't do as much as we done the day before, but we try to do as much as we can.
Yeah. I notice even on a weekday, because I'm here on a weekday, that a lot of families are bringing their kids. I think probably part of homeschool programs.
Homeschool, yes. A lot of people's homeschooling just because of the COVID. They can't stand the mask or they're not getting the shots, and they just rather homeschool. They think it's safer that way, and so then they get to venture out and educate more with whether animals or other curricular activities.
And you yourself developed that interest when you were a child and exposed to all sorts of animals.
Oh,
that
yes.
This is probably why you were drawn to this industry.
Oh, yes, very much
Tell us a
so.
little bit about that.
You know, I've always been raised on a farm with sheep, goats, cows. My mom had a few dogs. We just always had all kinds of animals. And whenever I got old enough to do this on my own, I wanted to seek further and go further. And that's whenever I started getting into all the exotics. I've had them over 20-something years.
So tell us, it's fascinating because I see all these different animals put into the same room or same area, and they all get along pretty peacefully, right? I mean, you got kangaroos with armadillos, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
have monkeys with, ducks and all of that. There is an overarching philosophy around taking care of animals.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, and all your animals are different. So, each animal, it could be the same species, but it's going to have a different personality. It's like people,
Yeah, just like
You just have to learn their traits and learn what they like to do. As you see, I got a baboon that likes to put rocks in her cheeks and, stretch them out. And the other baboons, they don't do that. It's just part of her personality. Some are going to be more aggressive than others. You just got to learn and, just, switch it up and figure out the best way to take care of that animal.
So yeah, every day you're kind of playing by ear, right? You're just adjusting. And
Sometimes,
seeing.
but once you get your rhythm down
Yeah.
and your animals, you can really take care of them better and get it done faster because there's a lot of things to do. So.
And you have babies being born because a lot of times they're so happy, they're in this positive environment.
We like to.
They got proper housing, proper food, proper this. If everything's proper and everything's going good in their life, well, then they want to breed and bring on offsprings. If there was such discomfort in life or stress or nobody wants to be in that environment, and nobody wants to thrive and breed and reproduce and all that.
Yeah.
So
I say the proof's in the pudding, right?
I got to be doing something right. I got babies everywhere.
That's right. So proof's in the pudding.
If they're not stressed enough to breed, they got to be somewhat comforted and happy and whatnot. So, like I said before, we just do the best we can.
I mean, it may not look like the Hilton here, but same with me, You may have $1 million house on a concrete foundation with a pool, and I live in a dang trailer house. I sleep just as good as you, and the next person down the road that's got a $5 million home.
That's right.
I'm happy. I got a roof over my head, got air, got water.
The needs are being met.
Yeah, as long as you meet their needs.
Yeah, we just do the best we can. We're not no different than a bigger zoo besides the close interaction with the animals. That's the only difference.
Right.
We're still putting our heart into it, our knowledge. People make mistakes. And so we fix the mistakes. And we like I said, we just do what we can. We're not no more different than the big zoos. They're just more flashy because they get those funds, they get the grants, and we don't want that. But we do want the best for the animals, but we just wanted to do it
And
our
you do
way.
want your independence. You don't want to be harassed.
Exactly. We don't want
constantly.
Because once you take someone else's money, then you fall into bureaucracy and paperwork, and that just takes too much time. Whenever something's happening now, you have to do something now. You don't have a week for paperwork and permission. You just have to just take care of yourself, and the best way to do that is out of your own pocket and your own time.
Absolutely. And recently, I think just last week or last weekend, you had to deal with all this weather. So that was a whole operation, right, to move your animals.
It is. Prepare the best you can. Like last year when we had the big freeze, we didn't lose anything. What happened to other big facilities, multi-million-dollar facilities, and they lose chimps or big-time animals, and they get...
Yes.
Well,
This was bad for everybody, so here's just a slap on the wrist.
I'll say this, that they're not governed by USDA. So if you're not governed by USDA, then they can't regulate you. If you don't have their license, so individuals that do not have USDA license are not regulated. So USDA cannot step in and do anything. That's what USDA straight out of their mouth told me.
So what they do is there's this pent-up energy because there's really not much to do, so they come in and write up on things.
Well,
So
you have like, you know, everybody's different. You know, USDA sort of falls in like police officers. They project the law, enforce the law the way they see it, the way they define the law, you know? So you'll
It's all
have a
about the
good
person.
inspector, you'll have a bad inspector. One that writes you up constantly, like the one that just wrote us up with all those infractions. And then you have, like, our old inspector. She's back in the picture. She's, you know,
She's doing
teachable,
teaching
teachable moments to help me fix something. Now, if it's not fixed by the time she comes back unexpectedly, then, you know, they write us up. We understand that because we had a chance to fix it and we didn't, you know? And like all the infractions we've had over the years, which isn't much, like 10 non-critical and 1 critical. What is non-critical? Not, you know, not very bad. Critical, a little bad, you know, or really bad.
And once again, I want to reiterate the fact that during that big freeze last year, you did not lose a single animal.
Nope.
Right? There you go.
Little small town, no nothing, no college, didn't lose anything. Then you got these big wigs with degrees and stuff that read out of a book that has stuff die on them over something so simple. Cold.
Right.
Keep them warm. It's very simple.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we get backlashed over like a deer in a mud puddle that it chose to be in. You know, someone took a picture of it, but obviously about 10 foot behind it, it was lots of dry land it could have went to. You know,
It
instead
chose
of
to be there.
instead of saying,
they-
"Hey,
they
Mr.
just-
Employee,"
she just caught the right picture, the right moment to take a picture to say, look, it's in mud. Well, yeah, right at this moment it's in mud. A minute later, it was out. It just happened to walk. It stopped, looked at you. You got a picture.
Yeah.
You know, all you got to do is tell them, you know, a worker, "Hey, it's a little cool out here, maybe, or it's a little muddy. Hey, it's muddy.
Right.
You mind moving it? Make us feel better." You know, we'll be more than happy because the animal's going to get sick. It's a little baby.
Yeah.
That was a baby deer in the picture. You know, we've been more than happy to move it. You know, who in the right mind wants to buy a zoo and the animals and then kill the animals that people pay to look at? That's just
Ludicrous.
yeah, it just
But that's
makes
what they're
no
claiming.
sense. That's what all they do.
Yeah.
All activists
Yeah.
and they, you know, the activists themselves, I don't own any type of animal. So they don't know what kind of, you know, work goes into this,
Right.
hours, stress, especially the stress they put on us to, you know, things we got to try to get through the day with, people accusing us of things we didn't do,
Yeah.
you know.
So tell us a little bit. You don't have to go into the exact cost, but you know, just to run a zoo or a private, you know, operation like this, you got food, you got vet bills, you have transportation costs, you have
Maintenance.
maintenance,
Everything.
Yeah,
Cleaning,
everybody just looks and
tools.
says, "Oh gosh, he's got 300 cars that came out there on a Saturday." Well,
Yeah.
you know, my feed bill runs about $6,000 to $8,000 a week.
and the employees, you got to pay them.
Yes.
Yeah, these employees
mean,
are not working for free.
I
Everybody
know.
wants me to
We're
do
not
everything
Carol.
for
We're
free.
not Carol Baskins and have 60 people as volunteers. You know,
Right.
we actually pay our people, employees. You know, yes, they love it, but you know, they also have to live and feed their families as well. And you know,
Yeah.
like
And then certain times of the year, you need more hay, for example, right?
Yep.
So
winter, you're gonna need
you know,
twice as
so
much
winter will have increased costs, and you have
Yeah,
less
because you
business.
got less
Exactly.
cost. I mean, more
Less-
cost, less
less
business.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to put out double the hay because a lot of them bed up in the hay. And animals, you know, they don't think, oh, we'll just poop right here, we'll pee right here. Then they go to smell it to eat the hay. Oh,
Yeah.
we ain't eating that. Well, now it's ruined.
Now we gotta
But now it's
clean it up
bedding.
to new-
Yeah.
So then you got to put out fresh.
Mm-hmm.
It's everyday ordeal.
Yeah, it's a lot of work and a lot of costs. And also, yeah, I mean, you got 16 employees. Am I correct?
Right around there
Yeah.
at both facilities.
Yeah, with families there, you know,
Yeah.
that you're feeding and you're providing for jobs and livelihoods for people. People don't see that.
Nope.
So it's very easy to vilify people, you know, when you just have a picture that you can run off
Oh.
and make a TikTok video with
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
You know,
and people, you
scary
know,
music, ominous music.
it's easy to hate. Very
Yes.
easy to hate. So
And-
as soon as someone's hating, people are gonna jump on the bandwagon to hate.
Yeah, because there's
It's
no
the easiest
there's no
thing in the
love, there's
world
no
is to put down
positive,
somebody.
there's no. It's all about hatred and bad, ugly, everything. That's.
But that's
it
not
is.
what I saw in both parks.
No.
I think I met almost every animal. Some of the wildest animals are super tame and happy. Like we just saw the Brazilian tapir roll around in the
in the, pond.
water. Yeah.
he's got a big pond. He jumps in it and plays in it.
Yeah.
And another fun fact here is what I want to say too, because people's going to think of this. Oh, you got a video from him. He knew you set him up, and he knew you was coming down. Talked to you 2 days ago. Next day you was on a plane. You just
Yeah.
showed up. I didn't have time to clean nothing, prep nothing. You showed up. You just pulled
It's
up,
like-
announced, "Hey, I'm here."
Yeah.
You said I could come,
Yeah.
and I'm inviting anybody.
And it's like the government,
Yeah.
they don't tell us when they're coming. They just
show up.
Yeah.
And so, like, on one
And that's
of
what
my-
I wanted you to do. I said, show up anytime, video what you want, right around my whole place, check it all out.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of people needs to do is just, hey, come put your eyes on it yourself.
Yeah,
know,
you're open 7 days a
If
week.
I'm open every day. As long as the weather permitting, we're open. Come out
Yeah,
anytime.
I mean, if we're that big of a bad deal, you think more customers would see it and not show
Right.
I'd have
up,
more
but-
complaints from customers than anybody because they can visually see everything.
Yes.
But we don't have.
I don't have nothing hiding.
We don't have.
It
we
isn't
don't
like I
have-
got all these, like a zoo's got all these fake rock walls.
Yeah.
And you can't see beyond that. I don't have that.
It's very transparent.
You can look
Yeah.
right through the cages and see the back of the
Yeah.
other cages.
Right.
You can see the fences. There's nothing.
And what happened here was Cynthia DiSigaldo you're the agent, right? That came
That's
in.
a USDA inspector,
Yes, and she came in and gave you 70 write-ups, 70, right?
A roundabout number, I'm not for sure, but yes, she just blew in here after my inspector was out of state or doing
Yeah.
something else. She came
said,
in.
Cindy told me, I was like, "Where's Beverly? Where's my usual inspector?" She goes, "Well, she's not doing her job. She's on leave." It's like, wow. I didn't know you can give personal information out like that.
Yeah, and given
It's not very professional.
and then her direct email to some of the villains or animal rights or whatever you want to say was posted, and I found it and I screenshot it, and that was wrong.
Yeah.
Her personal opinion about me, telling everybody that she inspects about her personal opinion about me, is very non-professional in my opinion.
I mean, I think the bottom line is the spirit of it was to hurt and try to shut you down or do whatever
I
they
even
could,
asked
right?
her. I said, "Are you?"
What's
just
your
like-"
purpose?
Yeah, I asked her. I was like, "Why are you here and so rude? Like, are you here just to shut down private-owned zoos?" She goes, "Yeah, possibly."
Yeah.
She, out of her words, that's what she told
Out
me.
of her mouth.
Out of her mouth. Yeah, out of her own mouth.
Yeah.
Those are her words. She said, "Yeah, probably so."
And that's the agenda. That's the agenda of the Fringe
You know,
website.
like that's when you go back. Like I said, each inspector is like, in a way, like the police officers. They define everything their own way. I don't know if the lady's just unhappy or what, because anybody can go on the USDA and look up the infractions. There's non-critical and critical. The non-critical, you got like paint or a little rust showing, or that's what most of our stuff is. I think we have one critical, and that was a scab on a tail. A scab on a tail, people.
yeah.
You never got a cut? No. I mean, relax. Jeez.
I mean, did they expect a
Well,
personal?
she said I had no vet care. Is the reason why she wrote me
But it
up.
was a scab.
I know, but it was a scrape. Yes. But and she didn't realize it. My vet. She didn't ask for no more information. Do you have vet records on this? I said I'm not sure, but I probably called the vet or something. And well, you got purple stuff on it. Yeah, that's an ointment.
It's a
That's an ointment. It's an
antiseptic or antibacterial spray.
yeah, to keep the flies off it,
We can use it
bacteria
on
off of it.
horses, pigs. We use it on
Yeah.
ourselves. It's just,
Right.
And that's the worst of it. She never asked for much. She just
Because everyone's
assumed and wrote
spreading.
up.
Everyone's spreading.
It's like a
all-
gotcha game.
Yeah.
Look at these critical infractions and non-critical, and they don't give the whole story.
Yeah. And you had no prior relationship with this.
No.
She just came in but
Well-
then now you've reverted back to your old.
We got our original
I got my
inspectors
original.
back and no problem.
Yes, and I'll actually in the write up of this, I'm going to show the
And our original
screenshot.
inspector, she wasn't here for like a year, like 2
Yeah.
years, and she came back. She's like, "Wow, this place has really changed.
Yeah.
It looks amazing."
That's right.
That's what we want people to do, even our customers. We're always going to change and get better. We don't have 80 million sitting in the bank to build a fancy zoo.
Yeah. And you're doing the best you can, and you know what?
It just aggravates me.
Yeah.
These people.
The animals are, well taken care of, and look healthy, and they're thriving. So,
Yeah.
I want to move on though to some other,
Yeah.
kind of bigger picture things. Okay, the industry, it's the animal rights people. who claim to be for animal rights, but I think they're anything but for animal rights.
Like PETA, they
Yes.
kill 89% or more of their animals they seize every year so they can pocket the donation money.
Yeah.
Like, how does a nonprofit CEO take home $2.5 million a year?
Yeah.
You know, they're nonprofit. You're not supposed to make any money.
And there's also a taxpayer-funded, whistleblower fee where I think for every exotic animal they get $50,000 as a bonus,
Oh, I
and that's
believe it.
coming out of our
Donations.
No, it's coming from our tax dollars.
tax. That's right.
tax
yeah.
dollars.
Yeah,
I
I've
have a
heard
real
about
issue
it.
with that.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's-
for sure what's going on there, but it's got to be something because they're trying to seize everybody's animal. They're trying to shut everybody down. Any private zoo, they're just little by little shutting it down.
And then
Yeah.
you got people that think they're activists, like Carol Baskins, buying up zoos and keeping her revenue coming.
Right.
And, you know, she's a total hypocrite.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
The lady probably kills more animals than PETA.
And let's talk about that hypocrisy. I'd like to talk about breeding because we've had conversations about this. I would think that the very logical thing is that if you have an endangered species, that you would actually want them to be breeding
Yeah.
and not spaying and neutering them. And
I thought it was illegal to spay and neuter endangered species.
It is. It's very
Okay.
illegal. If you go by the rule book, it's very illegal.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
No, you're
'Cause
not
they're
supposed to.
endangered.
You're
They're
not supposed to
protected.
declaw. You're not
Even if
supposed
they
to
pass away,
alter
they're protected.
alter any endangered species animal.
Yeah, even
That-
declawing, huh?
Declawing.
And declawing.
That's a big
No.
deal, you know.
Yeah, but they're doing that left and right, and then pretending that they're.
Well, that's where they got people. They got people and confiscated their animals because they proved they declawed them and altered with an endangered species. But then, whenever the animal rights organization got it, then they
Sell
spayed. No, they spayed and
neutered.
And neutered.
Yeah.
That's still breaking.
Or they sell it for a profit.
Yeah.
You know, if it's an expensive animal, they'll sell it to another
Yeah.
zoo.
So there's a whole set of.
There's a whole. It's a whole world out there of all this.
Yeah,
You know?
and you guys are these private people that were just minding your own business, serving the public, enriching the lives of children that want to learn about animals, giving them
Yeah,
access.
because you want to enlighten what's happening to
Right.
the animals in the world.
Mhm.
The best way to start with that is the children. You know,
Yep.
let them know on deforestation how bad our population's impacting the world, and all the trash we leave, and you
Yeah.
just got to clean up after yourself and keep the animals in mind and do what you can. And
Yeah.
zoos, sadly, but in the future, zoos are all animals are going to have. They're not going to have the wild.
Yeah.
So to keep them in this world, you're gonna have to breed. Especially was it the white rhino that just went extinct?
I'm not for sure.
One of the rhinos just went extinct, and they tried to move them and it didn't work. Poachers found them again.
Yeah.
So if they would have just put them in a zoo, locked down in a zoo, be safe. Yeah, it's a little sad, but at least they're alive. At least their species is still around. Imagine if a big culture of a country was just wiped out.
Right, and that's what they're
It would
trying
be
to
crazy. It would be bad.
do. Yeah. And there's a place for wild animals. There's a place for captive animals.
Yeah.
I think we should have those choices, right? So even down to things like adopt, don't shop. I think that's getting, for dogs
That's
and
just money.
cats.
It's
Yeah.
just a money thing.
At the end of the day, you
Since
do
when does
want.
a bag of dog, like a 5-pound bag of dog food, cost $20?
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
It's all for commerce.
Yeah.
It's just like your adoption fee a while ago. You seen where that little dog was
Yeah.
adoption. $500 for adoption.
Yeah.
what's it gonna take?
It's how it is
They
in
say, yeah, you
California.
need to do
It's
that
normal.
once a month.
Yeah.
$500 a
exactly.
month.
It's a racket, right?
Oh yeah, just for
Yeah.
money.
It is. People figure out how to word it and work it around where it doesn't seem as bad.
Like those big places, you don't see where the money goes.
No.
Private owned zoos, you see where it goes.
Yeah, it's
especially if you like the place and you go back, you're gonna see changes.
Yeah.
Some places you might not see changes for a year, but on that second year you should. Every winter we try to do big projects. Like we just added the porcupine pen. That's about 5 times bigger than what they had. And as soon as I released them, they started breeding.
Yeah.
And
And they're happy. They have a good environment, so they will breed and reproduce,
A lot
and
more
that's kind of your
space.
goal, right? As a
that's way
running a
better.
place.
Like they really didn't even have a house before. Now they
Yeah.
do. Now they got a nice brick house, heat, everything, and
And you got your monkey island that you're building out in your Franklin.
Yes. Got a big monkey island, Lemur Island. It's almost an acre big, or no, it's a half acre, I think.
Yeah. So these are investments back from your business into back.
As long as
into
the customers
business.
come out and stuff, I'll keep adding and building and make it better and better and better.
Yeah, and thankfully there's a happy ending here with the the latest write-up in January, they found no violations.
Zero complaint.
Yeah, zero. Everything was
Imagine that.
compliant.
Both places.
That was not.
Yeah.
We get her both. We get her. He gets his old inspector back. I get mine. Zero compliance.
Yeah. And then on top of that, we have basically, hopefully that Cindy or whatever is not able to go back to your facilities, right?
Oh, let her back
Yeah.
on. Let's shut the gate.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's happening though in the big picture is scarier because while yours is a happy ending, we have issues where PETA and animal rights people are getting into government positions in the USDA
Oh,
and
yeah.
becoming
They-
activists.
They fund part of USDA.
Yeah.
So.
And the Humane Society, all of them are kind of like intertwined. And who's in the end affected is the private owners and
And the
everyday
Private
Joes.
owners
And the
and
animals,
animals.
because if they seize
Yes.
the animals, they're most likely going to die.
Tell us about that because I know there was in Tiger King there was quite a few instances where some of these animals were seized, the government got involved, and then they ended up dying, and that just broke my heart.
Yeah, well, a lot of times either whoever sees them is not going to be able to take care of them because they don't know how or never mess with something like that, or they're just going to euthanize them to save money. Like, oh, there's nowhere for them to go because they're not going to try very hard. So there's nowhere for them to go, so they might keep them for a couple days or a week and then euthanize them.
Right.
And then they get to pocket all that money that was just handed to them. So, it's always
It's
about...
all unfortunate.
It just sucks all the way around because of the animals. They got hurt by it. The bonds with the keepers, it's just bad all the way around for everybody there.
And here in Texas, at least there's still a culture where you can, as an animal owner, you do what you want. Obviously, if there's any points of egregious behavior where people are truly abusing, that they should go after them. But I think to throw out the word animal abuser, very
They need cold hard facts.
Well,
Yeah.
and
I mean, you just can't. Anybody can be accused of anything. And that's what they do. It's just like the law reads, you're innocent until proved guilty. Bullshit. You're guilty until you prove your innocence.
yes.
And
100%.
I think there's people make mistakes and then there's abuse.
Okay.
Like abuse. I think abuse is more of like a repetitive thing. You constantly do it over and over and over.
It's just like a
And then
drunk
then you
driver.
have that mistake where you just do it once and you're like, oh man, never again.
Right.
And but yeah, I think abuse is more of a long-term thing, not a short-term thing. And as you see, all of our animals are fat, healthy,
Right.
good to go. You got room. Of course, everybody wants their animals to have more room.
Right.
That's like us. You have a house. You
want-
might want a bigger one day or something. It just depends
we
on how you are.
we wish, and sometimes
Yeah.
it comes true, sometimes it doesn't. But
Yeah.
All we gotta do, we just try to feed these animals, do what we need to do, keep them alive, make these bonds. We love them,
Yeah.
keep them going.
But what's very interesting is the animal rights that seized upon this have actually smeared your reputation to a point where you're walking around in the local Walmart and people are mentioning that, right? You got put in the local paper.
Yeah,
but-
actually a couple times in the local paper, and they're just going off of what other people have said, off of websites and whatnot, and they're not even
Just
they're
with
not
the
even
art-
coming to us to ask our point of view or try to get the truth. They're just spreading what they've heard.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And
And they're like 10 miles down the road. Just come out here. You want to do an interview? Let's do an interview.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they used to, hey, want to come do an interview all the time. News stations I've been here never said anything to me.
Right.
Oh, this is abuse, or that looks bad. That's not filmed. They've never said that. I'm like, oh, let's do this. Let's do that.
Yeah. So suddenly overnight, you change all your practices
Because
to start becoming nefarious
someone
and
says something
abusing.
negative, so they
That
just want to
sounds so
spread it.
silly.
That's just what
negative sales. That's plenty.
That's the media, Like you
It's just-
said, hate is easy to spread and easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
So the media, as soon as there's some kind of hate, they're gonna do it.
But it's very interesting because the person that actually runs this website, which is very small and has a limited following, but are trying to make as much noise. That person is a convicted felon, right?
Yeah, she has a
Yeah.
felon charge. Everybody that she's accused or wrote an article on. We finally got together and we know who she is.
Mm-hmm. And
And it's coming out. It's all coming out. It's all coming to a head, you know.
Yeah. Stealing, what is it?
Ketamine.
Ketamine. Okay.
It's for
Yeah.
cats.
Yeah. So, you know, these type of people
Controlled substance.
yeah, the type of people that are going out there trying to vilify others maybe should put the mirror in front of themselves.
Like I
And,
said,
right?
It's all
Yeah.
animal activists are. When it boils down to it, and you do a little research on them, they're hypocrites. They were the same way. You know, a lot of people try to say, "Oh, they've changed and whatnot." Then why can't other people change? You're the only person in the world that can change. You know, if we
Right.
did something so bad, why
Yeah.
can't we change?
yeah.
If we, actually did something bad, in case we
Yeah,
didn't.
she's sorry now. She's sorry. She's sorry she got caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're only
ain't we
sorry,
all?
in case,
You're only sorry until you get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got caught.
Yeah. And then
Good
now
point.
she's being holier than thou and
Yeah.
trying to vilify people, but using the same trickiness, right? I mean, she
And
wrote
she worked at the one of the zoos up north in Wisconsin.
Mhm.
There's so much about that stuff that's all coming out. You know, so try to make it a vet, couldn't work. Try to make it in the zoo world, didn't work. Now let's be a journalist. We'll be animal rights.
Yeah.
We'll be against it all.
Mhm.
Even though I loved enjoying the animal interactions and enjoyed all this big
Yeah.
smile on my face in the pictures, but I'm gonna go after the people that helped me experience this.
Right.
You know,
That's sad.
because some people can't leave the country and go visit the elephants, or leave the country and visit the
Yeah.
monkeys in India. You know, so we have them here.
Yeah, I was
All you
joking yesterday.
All you have to drive is 30 minutes or however far away.
Yeah.
Less than $100 for the family to go out and actually
Yeah.
enjoy, interact with the animals, touch them, feel them, get
Yeah.
to know them. You know,
Yeah.
because the animals do grow a bond to the customers, especially if you repeat yourself. Some of them, like monkeys, they'll remember you. You know.
Yeah, and that's a thing that's so sad because it's such a positive thing, but they want it for themselves, but they don't want to share it.
Exactly.
That experience to the general public, and I
Yeah.
think that's what we call elitism, right? That's okay for me to enjoy this and
The
play
rules
with,
don't apply to them. Exactly.
Right.
They're elite.
and
They
that's
think
kind
they're
of
elites.
the bigger problem here. So I'm glad that we're exposing that, and there's
Back in the day when dairy farmers were like a big deal, they wanted to shut them down because they were abusing cows. Whenever the dairy cows, they enjoyed it because if they don't get sucked, their milk doesn't get sucked out, it actually hurts them a little bit. It bothers them. So I've seen several dairy farm videos. They'll release the cows in the barn. They go to each stall on their own and wait to get plugged into the suction cups. I mean, some of the animals love it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that choice, right? These animals, for the most part, even if they're doing a show and you're exhibiting, and obviously you guys are USDA licensed to exhibit, when they do their show, it's all voluntary, right? No one's pushing them.
Yeah, and you also do the positive reinforcement to help them lead the way a little bit. But the animals, they love it to where they pretty much need it. That's their normal, is the interaction with the human. Like you said, they're in captivity. They're not in the wild. They know us. They don't know how to live in the wild. Unless you rehab them at a young age.
Right. No, that's great. Anything else you want to share with the audience? I think we kind of, got a feel for, these supposed animal abusers, but really, I've seen their facilities. I've spent 2 days, one day at Franklin and one day here today to see how these animals are thriving. They're fat and happy and reproducing, which really shows that, it's a positive environment. And I kind of surprised you guys by just coming unannounced, and so didn't give you much time to clean up. And I saw it as is, and it looks fine to me.
Well,
Yeah, what was I going to say? Get facts. Don't assume. Don't just read something and presume it's this way. Come out. Get your facts.
Yeah.
Come out
if
and
you like
visit
the
us.
facility, come back. If not,
If you
go
think
somewhere
there's
else.
something wrong, talk to us about it.
Yeah.
We'll fix it.
Right.
But just because you read something doesn't mean it's right.
Right.
Just you get on the internet and go to order something. Oh, it says this, this, and this, and you get it and you're like, this ain't this.
you have to remember people.
Because
like your articles, your small time medias, even your big medias, they're going to show what they want to show.
they're gonna say and show what
Just
sells.
just for example, like there's stuff happening in Canada right now. They're saying they're leaving trash and
Yeah.
destroying stuff,
When they were
not
actually
letting
cleaning
people
up.
sleep but they're cleaning monuments, paying their respects to the war monument, cleaning, picking up trash, debris. Then you got the leaders telling the police officers to take their gas that they need to stay cool or warm in their trucks and whatnot. And you got to get the whole picture and not just what they want to show. They're going to show the worst possible thing, and in these times, everyone should know the media is going to show what they want, and not the whole thing.
And I think the media will show just one side, right? In the past, they will at least give lip service to, devil's advocate point of view on things. But these days, no, they will vilify you if you present
our local newspaper for
one side.
exactly thing. They won't come out here and talk to me and take a look. They're just going to pass on the word of mouth thing, you know, even though they're 10 miles away and they're taking someone's word that never been to the facility far away,
They live in Wisconsin.
I don't know where they live, but
That's amazing. So see for yourself, and I'm going to post some video and pictures, and you'll see. It's a great facility. Come visit it. I was joking with my friends because I put up pictures of me and the lemur, and I said, "Oh, I'm in Africa," and I posted some pictures, and it looks like Africa. When you have your zebras running around. So it really goes back to that, right? Like some people cannot afford to fly to a different continent and take that time out of their lives to be on a plane for like 1.5 days or 3 days if you do the round trip, take their families with them to do that. So, you guys provide that, and Texas is such a great place where you can do that, and that can flourish. Yeah. So whatever you do, talk to your congressman, talk to your senators, talk to your anyone that's a state representative.
Yeah, all of us exotic animals or farm animals, all of us need to get together and stick together more.
Yeah, because some states, they're blocking certain things, like banning primate breeding or banning traveling zoos, such as petting zoos, where animals go to you. They're banning all this stuff for animals, and it's costing the owners of these animals less revenue, which means less care, which means they have to probably get rid of the animals. Right. They're not going to starve their animals. They love those animals. They also don't want to get rid of them, but they're going to do what's best for the animal and themselves, at the same time.
Absolutely.
Just like animals are getting extinct, we're going to be extinct.
Yeah.
Of private zoos and all that.
Yeah. And Texas is really kind of the last stand, right? It's Texas and
Oklahoma. I think they have the most open animal laws, I think, in the country. Yeah.
Even Florida's a little restrictive. I mean, forget about California.
Oh, you have to have a permit to own a house cat, I think, there.
Exactly, pretty much, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so keep up the good fight, guys. I hope your business flourishes, continues to flourish. Franklin Safari and also East Texas Zoo and Gator Park, right? Yes, so look them up. Great places, wonderful animals, so tame, and was it the baboon tried to steal my phone, but
mandrill. It was a mandrill. Oh.
Okay. Yeah, and but I got it back, so no casualties at the end of the day.
I told you, watch it.
Yeah. We have a hidden person here, so thank you guys. And do you guys have a website also that to go to?
Well, the zoo is this one here is easttexaszooandgator.com, and then you got FranklinSafari.com.
Okay. Yeah. So make sure you can, and I know on your Facebook you post if you're open that day due to weather and all that.
Yeah, we try to keep up on that. So, because we can't always answer the phones, so we just try to post our hours and the admission prices. Yeah. Because we're always, like I said, it's a lot of work. So we do, if we're shorthanded, we're really going to be messing with the animals. Yeah. I like to tell my workers we're here for the animals, not for the people. And all the barriers are to protect the animals, not the people.
Yeah. So. And just real quick before we end this, during that rough weather, give us an idea of what it took to kind of make sure that these animals are safe during bad weather conditions.
Well, like on that freeze we had last year, it took me 3 days. I was by myself for 2, catching all the monkeys and small hoof stock. The bigger hoof stock, I had to just bed them down with hay and wind barriers and whatnot, and then just lock up all the stuff to make sure it's warm. Wind barrier, heat, lights, mats, whatever I possibly could. And like I said, I didn't lose anything that year.
That's amazing.